While distributing flyers, I noticed my girlfriend, Alicia, looking disheveled as she passionately kissed the popular guy from school in a sports car. When I tapped on the window, the guy glanced at Alicia and asked, "Who's this?" Alicia responded, "Just a simp. If you don't like it, I'll break up with him immediately." After their kiss, she didn't even acknowledge me and turned away. The guy lingered, licking his lips where Alicia had kissed him, and taunted, "Leave. Beauties belong only to the strong." I confronted him, saying, "I don't care about my girlfriend, but why are you in my car?" The tension thickened as he nervously gripped the steering wheel, staring blankly at me. "What do you mean your car?" "This is mine," I declared, opening the glove compartment to show the registration. "See, it's in my name. Why are you using my car? Are you trying to steal it? I'll call the police right now." Flushing with embarrassment, the guy quickly exited the car and whispered, "Don't call the police. My dad's a mechanic. I thought the car looked nice and just wanted to take it for a spin. Please don't involve the authorities." I raised an eyebrow and replied loudly, "You call this borrowing? This is theft. Can repair shops legally take cars for maintenance without permission?" He looked down, apologizing softly. "Bro, I'm sorry," I sighed. "Don't get too comfortable. Let me inspect the car first." He stayed silent as I discovered a dent on the hood. "What's going on here?" I demanded angrily. The guy panicked. "It's not my fault. Your girlfriend insisted on sitting on the hood for selfies and posted some provocative photos on her social media. That's the proof." I checked my phone but saw nothing, so he quickly showed me his. It turns out Alicia had blocked me. Viewing her WeChat moments, I shook my head. "Such bold photos? Fine, you can leave. I'll keep these pictures as evidence. Both of you should prepare for a court summons." Stunned, he whispered, "Bro, will this be expensive?" I responded, "About 100,000. His face went pale instantly. "But she was the one who damaged it. Do I have to pay too?" I rolled my eyes. "Don't you understand the law? You're both liable. Your dad's work this year has all been for nothing." The proud guy burst into tears. "That stupid girl. I told her this car is made of carbon fiber. Only high-end sports cars have it. The hotter it gets, the harder it becomes. But she couldn't wait for the car to warm up and just sat on it for selfies. My parents worked so hard, and now we're screwed because of her." Impatient, I got into my car and called someone to assess the damage. I wasn't interested in watching him cry. He wiped his tears and wailed, "How come you're the rich one? Your girlfriend said you work multiple jobs handing out flyers." I replied, "I don't work. I distribute flyers, but those stores are mine." I wasn't lying. Half of the pedestrian street's 72 stores belong to my family. Handing out flyers for my family's businesses? What's wrong with that? I rolled up the car window, not wanting to hear him sob. At that moment, Alicia texted me, "Since you saw it, let's break up. Don't blame me. Blame your parents for being losers. I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than laugh on your bicycle handing out flyers." I pondered deeply. Since both the Lamborghini and the bicycle are mine, should she cry or laugh? I wanted to respond, "Wait for the court summons," but Alicia had already blocked me. My goodness, how could she block me? Speaking of the repair costs, she owes me 100,000. Ignoring the fact that it was the girls' dormitory, I rushed there and headed straight to Alicia's room. Fortunately, it was morning, and the dorm was quiet. I arrived at her door and was about to knock when I heard a woman inside ask, "Did you really do what I told you?" Then Alicia replied, "Yes, I lied to him about taking the pill." The woman excitedly said, "That's a great opportunity. I calculated your cycle and knew you were likely to get pregnant these 2 days, which is why I told you to go on a date. Once you're pregnant, you can marry into a wealthy family." Alicia looked worried. "What if he makes me get an abortion?" The woman responded, "As long as you're pregnant, I have ways to make him acknowledge the baby. You even broke up with your boyfriend for him. Let's see if he dares not to take responsibility." I was truly shocked that Alicia would go this far, planning to marry the campus heartthrob by having his child. I wondered how she would react when she discovered the heartthrob had stolen my car. I knocked on Alicia's door, and when she saw me, she immediately frowned. "I've already broken up with you. Why are you still bothering me? Being poor isn't a problem, but being poor and shamelessly pestering a girl is really disgusting." It seemed Alicia misunderstood my intentions, thinking I was there to win her back. There were 2 other people in the dorm, her roommates, whom I recognized. Before I could say anything, one of them said, "Can you stop interfering with Alicia's pursuit of her own happiness?" I was completely dumbfounded. So, making out with another guy in a sports car behind her boyfriend's back was considered her way of seeking happiness. I knew this roommate. It was Alicia's best friend, Eva, the same one who had just encouraged Alicia to get pregnant. When I first began dating Alicia, she often made sarcastic comments, claiming that a man's affection for a woman was measured by how much money he spent on her. Because of Eva's influence, I had showered Alicia with numerous gifts. Now I was there to reclaim those gifts. I said, "We can break up, but the phone you're using is mine. You need to return it." I didn't mention that the sports car was also mine. Knowing Alicia's personality, she might try to cling to me, so I needed to retrieve my belongings first. Alicia frowned and responded coldly, "So you're being petty. Can't you think about my feelings?" I was at a loss for words. It wasn't about being petty. She had wronged me, so why should I consider her feelings? Eva suddenly covered her mouth and laughed. "Can't you see through this poor man's trick? Asking for the gift back is just a pretense. He really wants to make things difficult for you because he can't handle the breakup." Alicia sneered. "So that's it. You think if I'm reluctant to return the gift, I won't break up with you, right? Have you forgotten that my current boyfriend is very wealthy?" She lifted her head proudly, and Eva added fuel to the fire. "Don't be scared, sis. I just checked. The heartthrob's Lamborghini costs millions. Buying you a new phone is nothing to him." Alicia laughed and said, "I can return the phone, but let me make one last call. I'll show you why I broke up with you. The gap between you and a rich man is so vast, you'll never bridge it in your lifetime." I wondered if the rich man she mentioned was the heartthrob. I recalled that when I had sent the car to his house for maintenance, his father had sighed and said that earning money was tough these days, and they didn't have enough to cover the rent. Alicia made the call, and Eva quickly urged, "Put it on speaker so he can hear and understand the difference between himself and others." Alicia nodded and, seemingly to show off, put the call on speaker. As soon as the call connected, she said pitifully, "Brother, my boyfriend is breaking up with me and wants me to return the phone he bought me. Without the phone, how will I contact you in the future?" However, the heartthrob didn't indulge her. On the other end of the line, he shouted angrily, "You damn bitch! Don't let me see you again or I'll beat you every time I do!" Both Alicia and Eva were stunned, and the call abruptly ended. Alicia stared at her phone, speechless. Eva quickly reacted, grabbing a book from her bed and throwing it at me, shouting, "Did you badmouth my best friend downstairs?" Hearing this, Alicia was furious and started shaking. "Yeah, he didn't treat me like this before. You must have slandered me. How despicable and disgusting can you be?" I impatiently replied, "I didn't badmouth you. Just give me back my things." Alicia retorted, "If you didn't badmouth me, why would he suddenly treat me like this?" I was at a loss for words. Alicia's provocative selfies on the car hood had likely caused the heartthrob to end up in debt. Considering his family's income, how could he not be angry? Eva sneered. "That's why I told you to be brave and date the heartthrob. I saw through this poor loser. He only knows how to play tricks behind your back. Disgusting simp." I asked, "So you were involved in her betrayal of me?" Eva snapped. "Betrayal? My best friend was in a mess, so I had to help her out. Should I let her get stuck with you? She'll thank me for it eventually." Alicia grew impatient and said coldly, "You can have the phone back, but I have one condition. You must immediately apologize to the heartthrob and admit that you were lying about me." Eva added, "Yeah, even if you have to kneel and apologize, clear my best friend's name." I took the phone and said, "Why should I apologize for something I didn't do? And we haven't settled our accounts yet." I walked into the room and sat at the desk to start calculating. Throughout our relationship, I had given Alicia many gifts and transfers, and I wanted them all back. Alicia said disappointedly, "My friends are all here. We once loved each other. Do you really want to embarrass me like this?" I ignored her and continued calculating. Eva suddenly took a photo of me, and with a disdainful look, she said, "Today, I encountered the ultimate loser. I'm posting this on my social media right now to expose you so you'll be socially dead." I thought she was just threatening me, but when I checked my phone, I saw she had actually posted it. She had shared my photo with the caption, "OMG girls, never date a poor guy. The poorer they are, the more trouble they cause. My best friend got stuck with one and it's terrifying." I frowned and said, "This is a personal matter between us. Why do you keep emphasizing being poor? You might as well write gold digger on your face." Eva sneered. Yeah, I like rich guys. Do you have the right to be jealous? If you were rich, you'd be the one scolding me, not the other way around. Look at your pathetic self. Eva became increasingly agitated, walking to the window and pointing downstairs. Rich men drive million-dollar Lamborghinis and have ambition and career goals. Poor losers just sit here calculating, making the girls who once loved them feel sick. Another roommate finally spoke up. Alicia, why don't you just pay him back? This is your fault in the first place. In an instant, Alicia's expression shifted. She asked, What do you mean? Are you taking his side? Eva sneered. Isn't it obvious? You found a boyfriend with a Lamborghini, and she's jealous, so she's deliberately insulting and slandering you. The roommate's face flushed with anger. Don't falsely accuse me. I recognized her. She was a poor student named Lisa. Previously, when Alicia wanted to show off, she had me buy desserts for everyone in her dorm, but Lisa refused, saying she couldn't accept something she hadn't earned. That left a strong impression on me. Alicia sighed and said, Lisa, I know you're poor and rely on student loans and scholarships to study. I understand if you resent the rich, but you know what? Being a good person is more important than good grades. Lisa's eyes widened in disbelief. Are you saying I'm not a good person? I was completely stunned. Lisa was diligent and hardworking, excelling in both character and academics. Meanwhile, Alicia had just been making out with the rich guy in the car right in front of me, her boyfriend. How could she dare to say Lisa didn't know how to behave? What kind of nonsense was she spouting? Eva sneered. I know your type, poor simpering girl. You know he broke up with you, so you're pretending to be a pretentious coquette to win his favor. You have no chance with a guy who drives a Lamborghini, so you don't even let a guy who earns $3,000 a month from handing out flyers pass. Lisa was so angry that she clenched her fists and stood up. I also work part-time as a tutor and earn $2,000 a month. Eva looked at her with disdain. To you, even mosquito legs are meat. Yesterday, I saw you picking up food that fell on the table to eat. You poor wretch. Of course, you're not picky about men. Lisa's eyes reddened and her voice trembled with grievance. The food fell on the table, not the floor. What's so poor about that? Enough, Alicia's shout interrupted us. She slammed her phone on the table and said to me, You really embarrass me. My biggest regret is dating you. Hurry up and settle our accounts so I can go explain to my new boyfriend. Eva quickly added, Don't worry, sis. I'll go with you to explain. The rumors will be cleared up, and you'll still be the little darling of a rich man. I ignored them and focused on calculating our accounts. Naturally, I didn't include the repair costs for the sports car. I was afraid Alicia might try to reconcile with me. In the end, I calculated that over the year we dated, I had given Alicia gifts and transfers totaling $18,000. I was stunned. Dating really costs a lot of money. I only spent a few hundred a month on living expenses. I didn't realize it until I did the math. Not only was I shocked, but Alicia and Eva were also taken aback. After all, they were students. Where would they get over $10,000? At first, they didn't believe it, but after checking several times, they confirmed my calculations were correct. Alicia looked troubled. $18,000? I can't come up with that right now. Eva panicked and said quickly, Don't be scared, sis. I'll help you pay it back. How you handle this loser now will affect how your new boyfriend sees you. Even if we have to borrow from loan sharks, we'll pay the money back. You need to cut ties with this poor guy to have a chance to marry into a wealthy family. Alicia was eventually swayed by Eva's words. She nodded and said, Okay, we'll find a way to borrow it. My family mustn't know or my parents will kill me. I didn't know what to say. If $18,000 would get her killed, what would happen when the nearly $100,000 repair bill for the sports car arrived at her house? Her parents would probably want to grind her bones to dust. Alicia and Eva immediately began contacting people to borrow money. Surprisingly, it was relatively easy for them to gather funds. Classmates each contributed a few hundred to lend Alicia money. Even Alicia was amazed at how easily she could get the money. She remarked, I have a good reputation. Everyone is willing to lend me money. Eva laughed. It's because of your selfies on social media. You're sitting in a sports car worth millions. Of course, people are willing to lend you this small amount of money. Alicia suddenly realized and glanced at me. Do you see that? That's the true charm of a real man, making everyone admire him and lend me money, hoping to befriend him. If I were still with you, would anyone reach out to help me when I'm in trouble? Eva sneered. Trouble? Being with him is already the biggest disaster in life. They continued borrowing money and eventually managed to collect over $8,000, but there was still a $10,000 gap. Eva gritted her teeth and said, "I know a guy from the underworld. He can lend us the money, but if we can't pay it back, it'll be terrible." Alicia asked worriedly, "What happens if we can't pay it back?" Eva replied, "Don't worry about that for now. Your new boyfriend is so rich. $10,000 is nothing to him." Eva quickly contacted the so-called underworld person, who appeared to be a professional private lender. He handed over $10,000 without hesitation. After they managed to gather enough money, they returned it to me. Alicia threw the phone at me angrily and said, "Satisfied now? Get lost. From now on, we should have nothing to do with each other." I nodded and turned to Lisa, saying, "Can you come out with me for a moment?" Lisa looked at me in surprise, seemingly confused about why I was asking her to come. Eva immediately sneered. "I knew those two had something going on. As soon as you paid him back, they hooked up." I felt a wave of helplessness. The reason I wanted to talk to Lisa was that she worked in the student council and had access to the contact directory. Since I planned to send a court summons to Alicia's family, I definitely needed her home address. Lisa blushed deeply, lowered her head, and followed me out. Eva mocked again. "You're really following him out? You only deserve Alicia's leftovers." Lisa was almost in tears. "I don't have any such intentions." Eva cursed. "Pretentious coquette. Keep pretending. No wonder your family is so poor. It's genetic. Look at you trying to please even a guy who hands out flyers. You're so undiscriminating. It's clear what kind of people your parents are." Alicia looked at us with disdain and sneered, "Good thing I broke up with him. This useless man is all yours. Let me give you a piece of advice. A whore and a dog. May they last forever." I led Lisa out of the dormitory and into the hallway. Lisa whispered, "I only spoke up because I was angry. Don't read too much into it. I just want to study hard. I don't have the intentions they said." I nodded. "I know. You have to get scholarships and work as a tutor. You don't have time for romance?" Lisa asked curiously. "Then why did you ask me to come out?" I said, "I know you have the contact directory. Can you give me Alicia's home address?" Lisa immediately panicked. "What do you plan to do? Don't do anything reckless." She seemed very worried and even grabbed my hand in her anxiety. Lisa looked into my eyes and said seriously, "We may be poor, but we have dignity. Others are at fault, but don't ruin your future because of their mistakes." The atmosphere grew silent, and I didn't know how to respond. Did this girl think I was planning to go down with Alicia's family? Lisa then realized she had grabbed my hand in her haste. She quickly let go, blushing. "You're hardworking and determined. You deserve a better life. I believe that in 10 years, Alicia will regret her choices." I said, "It won't take 10 years. I've already had the dealership assess the damage. If her family lives in the city, she'll regret it soon." Lisa was stunned and asked what I meant. I revealed, "The sports car downstairs is mine." She stared at me, dumbfounded. I explained everything to Lisa. She was speechless again. It wasn't until I showed her the car registration that she believed it was true. When Lisa went to get the contact directory, she walked as if in a daze, probably thinking she was dreaming. Soon, she sent me Alicia's home address. Surprisingly, it was just a few kilometers from the dealership. What a coincidence, right? I called the dealership and they told me they'd deliver the damage assessment within 10 minutes. Then I suddenly remembered Alicia had given me back her phone. How would I contact her for debt collection later? I decided to temporarily return the phone to her. I went back to Alicia's dormitory. When she saw me return, she asked irritably, "Why are you back?" I said, "I know you don't have a phone. You can borrow this for a couple of days." Ava immediately clutched her chest, pretending to retch. "I'm going to puke. I was right. This simp is doing it on purpose, trying to play this on-again, off-again game with you." Alicia snapped, "Do you really take me for a fool? Can you stop pestering me? You're embarrassing me in front of my friends." Just then, Eva's phone rang. Eva took out her phone and said, puzzled, "Alicia, why are your parents calling me?" I was taken aback. The dealership worked fast. It seemed Alicia's parents couldn't reach her, so they contacted Eva. Alicia took the phone and asked, "Mom, what's wrong?" This time, Alicia didn't put the call on speaker, but her mother's yelling was loud and clear. "Don't call me Mom. Do you know how much your father and I make? You've ruined us." The sudden scolding left Alicia stunned. She quickly said, Mom, what did I do? And Alicia walked to the corner of the dormitory with her phone. As she talked, she suddenly burst into tears. Eva hurriedly asked, "Sis, what's wrong?" Alicia sobbed, "I know why the heartthrob suddenly got mad at me. I dented his car by sitting on it, and now he wants my family to pay. The estimated cost is $137,000. Where is my family going to get that kind of money?" Eva was equally stunned. "How is that possible? Just by sitting on it, it got dented?" Alicia replied, "The bill was delivered to my house. My mom said she took a picture of it and sent it to me. She told me to check my phone." Alicia couldn't even stand. She sat down on the bed in a daze. Eva bit her lip and said, "Don't panic. I might have a solution." Alicia asked, "What can you do?" Eva said, "At this point, we need to see if you're pregnant. If you are and you're carrying his child, would he really dare to ask you for the repair costs?" Alicia immediately nodded. "Right. Even if he doesn't care about me, he has to care about the baby, right?" Eva said excitedly, "If he dares to ask you for the repair costs, go make a scene at his house." Alicia sighed deeply. "I initially wanted to use the baby to marry into a wealthy family. Who knew it would only end up covering repair costs?" Eva consoled her. "Hundreds of thousands isn't a small amount. Your parents would need 2 years to earn that. And who says you can't marry into a wealthy family? Maybe his parents will insist on you getting married, and not only will they cover the repair costs, but they might even gift you a car." I wondered if I should remind Alicia, out of past affection, that getting pregnant with the heartthrob's child certainly wouldn't exempt her from the repair costs. I started to speak. But before I could say anything, Alicia shot me a venomous look. She walked over, snatched the phone from me, and said, "Don't say a word. Get lost. I don't want to hear your voice. I'm already in a bad mood." Eva also snapped impatiently, "Yeah, can you get lost? We're trying to figure out how to calm the heartthrob down." I awkwardly said, "How about you read the documents first?" Eva yelled at me, "Get lost, loser. We have nothing to talk to you about. If you keep pestering Alicia, we'll accuse you of harassment and see you in court." I nodded. Since she said that, fine. After all, we were going to see each other in court anyway. Alicia had already picked up her phone and sent a voice message to the heartthrob, "Please come downstairs to my dorm. I want to talk to you. Please." The heartthrob quickly replied, and Alicia played the voice message. I heard his voice. "Sure, you slut. I want to talk to you too. Come down now." Alicia put down her phone and worriedly asked Eva, "With that attitude, will he really forgive me?" Eva said, "Go down and beg him. I'll go with you." Eva helped Alicia up and glared at me. "Get out of the way." I ignored her and turned to leave the dormitory. Just as I was about to go downstairs, Lisa returned. Alicia and Eva walked past Lisa, heading in front of us. Seeing me, Lisa quietly asked, "Will you make Alicia pay a lot of money?" I said I won't extort her. She should pay what she owes, but I'm thinking... Lisa asked, "Thinking what?" I said, "It seems like they're begging the wrong person. Won't it be awkward?" When we got downstairs, the heartthrob was already there. The most noticeable thing was the slap mark on his face. He was standing by the roadside crying and wiping his tears. If I'm not mistaken, he must have told his dad about what happened and received some fatherly love. Alicia and Eva were dumbfounded at the sight. Eva said, "Seriously? With all the money his family has, he needs to cry like this?" Alicia said, "Maybe he really loves that car. When I went on dates with him, he always took great care to protect it." Eva sighed. "They say a car is a man's second wife. It must be true." I rolled my eyes. "I don't treat my car like a wife. And why wouldn't he protect it? It's my car." Alicia quickly approached him, looking pitiful. "Baby, let me explain." "Explain to your grandfather, you bitch." The heartthrob finally couldn't hold back his frustration. He rushed forward, grabbed Alicia's hair, and slapped her hard across the face. Neither Alicia nor Eva expected the heartthrob to hit her. Eva hurried over to try to break it up, while Alicia, feeling wronged, said, "Baby, hit me if you're upset. It's my fault. I'll never do it again. Can I make it up to you for the rest of my life?" "I don't need your compensation." The heartthrob was so angry he started punching Alicia in the face. As he continued hitting her, both Alicia and Eva realized something was seriously wrong. The students watching were all shocked. Just a moment ago, Alicia was stepping out of a sports car, admired by everyone. Now, in front of all these people, she was being beaten by the heartthrob, who had her by the hair, punching her face repeatedly. Eva shouted anxiously, "You're hitting her too hard! She's a girl!" The heartthrob hit so hard he knocked out one of Alicia's front teeth. Alicia, missing a tooth, covered her mouth in disbelief and spit out some blood. She quickly bent down to pick up the tooth, crying out, "Stop hitting me! My tooth is knocked out! Eva, go get some milk." I nodded and said, "Smart. If you put a knocked out tooth in milk quickly, there's a chance it can be reattached." Lisa turned to me, saying incredulously, "Are you taking pleasure in this?" I said, "How could I? We were in love once. Seeing her like this makes me sad too." Lisa asked, "Then why are you smiling?" I said, "I'm just naturally cheerful. People who smile often tend to have good luck." During this beating, Alicia finally remembered me. Covering her mouth, Alicia cried out to me, "You're really not a man. Look at how badly I've been beaten, and you still won't help me." I replied seriously, "You just told me not to harass you or we'd meet in court." The heartthrob, who seemed overwhelmed earlier, finally noticed me when I spoke. He let go of Alicia and walked toward me. Eva quickly said, "Heartthrob, I know you're upset, but do you know how much Alicia has suffered for you? Just now, this loser was bullying her. If she didn't love you so much, would she have put up with this?" The heartthrob angrily shouted, "Shut up! Your whole family are losers!" Eva didn't dare say another word. It was strange. She had been so aggressive in front of me, but was unusually obedient now, facing her rich idol. The heartthrob stood in front of me. I wondered how he would apologize, but then he did something unexpected. In front of everyone, he suddenly knelt down. With tears in his eyes, he cried, "Bro, I'm sorry. Please forgive me." At that moment, the world seemed to fall silent. Everyone stared at me in shock. The students were dumbfounded. Eva trembled with disbelief. Lisa said nothing, keeping her head down. Alicia, covering her mouth where a tooth was missing, suddenly had blood streaming from her nose. She tried to sniff it back but ended up choking on it and coughed painfully. No one expected things to turn out this way. Honestly, even I hadn't expected it. I sighed and said, "If you'd known this would happen, why did you do it in the first place?" Eva asked in a daze, "Why are you apologizing to him?" I said softly, "Yes, tell everyone why you're apologizing to me." The heartthrob, still crying, said, "I shouldn't have stolen your car to show off. I shouldn't have stolen your girlfriend. I'm despicable and disgusting. Please forgive me. I told my dad, but he said our family is already struggling with rent and can't pay for the damages." I nodded and said, "Your dad works really hard. That's why I sent my car to your family's repair shop. Who would have thought that such a diligent mechanic would raise a son like you?" The heartthrob broke down. "I'll never do it again. If you can give us more time to pay, I'll do anything you ask." Alicia was stunned. She muttered, "What repair shop? What car maintenance? What's stealing a car?" I said, "The facts are right in front of you." Alicia pointed at the sports car, her voice trembling. "That car is yours." I nodded. "Yes, it's my car." Her expression froze, then her lips quivered as she burst into tears. "How can you be the rich one? Weren't you the flyer guy?" "I do hand out flyers, but those are all for my shops." Ignoring her bleeding nose and missing tooth, Alicia hurried to my side, limping. She grabbed my arm, crying, "Baby, let me explain." I said coldly, "I'm not your baby. We're already broken up." Sorry. I reached out and placed my hand on the heartthrob's shoulder. He swallowed hard, looking at me pleadingly. I said, "This is your fault, not your dad's. In fact, I should thank you because you showed me my girlfriend's true colors. You helped me, so I'll help you this once." I thought for a moment and continued. "You'll graduate next year. You can negotiate the compensation amount, and once you start earning, I'll allow you to pay it back over 3 years." The heartthrob asked, surprised, "Really?" I nodded and said, "Yes, it's your mistake, not your father's to pay for, but knocking out her front tooth is going to cost you a lot." The heartthrob said viciously, "I'm not paying a cent. At worst, I'll go to jail and get a record. Anyway, I won't pass any civil service exams." I asked, "Are you really willing to go to jail rather than pay her a cent?" The heartthrob replied, "Yes, this bitch doesn't deserve my compensation." I patted his shoulder hard and laughed. "See, now you're being sensible. I'll waive 1,000 as a reward." Alicia was already dumbfounded. She whimpered, "Baby, I was really wrong. Can you give me another chance? It's all It's all... She turned around quickly and pointed at Eva, cursing. It's all because of this bitch. Eva didn't respond, her face blank. Alicia cried, "You told me to do this. I loved my boyfriend so much. Why did I fall for your tricks?" I was tired of watching her drama. I said, "Remember to take the morning after pill. Don't actually get pregnant. It's not because I care about you, but because I know with your personality, you definitely have an abortion if you got pregnant. I don't want an innocent life to be killed before it even sees the world because of your bad character." At that moment, Alicia's face turned ashen. Eva suddenly started crying. She said, "Aren't you going to repay the money I just helped you borrow?" Alicia completely turned on her. "You caused all this misery. Why should I pay you back?" Eva also broke down in tears. "I have to repay that money or I'll be beaten to death." I casually said, "If you're afraid of owing money to a loan shark, then just pay it back." Eva cried again. "Where am I supposed to get 10,000? Lisa clenched her fists in anger. She said furiously, "You mocked me for eating food off the table, but your own family doesn't even have 10,000. You're poor too, so why do you bully other poor people? You deserve this." Eva sat on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. I smiled at Alicia and said, "Goodbye. Unless it's about repaying money, don't contact me. Otherwise, I'll charge you with harassment." I turned to Lisa and asked, "Since the bitch has been punished, how about we go have a meal to celebrate? You can ride in my car." Lisa replied, "Are you drunk in broad daylight? Why would I get in your car or have a meal with you?" Realizing she had a point, I awkwardly scratched my nose. I got into my sports car and drove off. Alicia and the Heartthrobs family quickly reached an agreement, with both families paying half. It said that Alicia was beaten half to death by her parents at home, even having her leg broken. It really was broken. She had to wear a cast. The worst part was that her leg didn't heal properly. She walked with a limp and might have to break it again to heal correctly. Feeling too ashamed, she didn't return for the last year of college. Eva, on the other hand, did return. But every time she did, people mocked her, calling her a traitor to the poor. To pay back the loan shark, Eva tried desperately to find a job, but her reputation preceded her, and no one wanted to hire her. In the end, she found me begging for a job. I happened to have a few low-end restaurants, so I had her clean the toilets. She had looked down on the poor, so now she could clean toilets for them. She could only cry while scrubbing the toilets, and word spread about her situation. Some students even came specifically to use the toilet after she cleaned it just to make her clean it again. After dropping out, Alicia frequently messaged me, begging to get back together. I blocked her, but she would just switch numbers and continue to harass me. Eventually, I did as she wished and sued her. That finally scared her off, and she stopped contacting me. As for Lisa and me, nothing happened between us. She was a self-reliant and disciplined girl, different from Alicia and her crowd. During the last year of college, Lisa didn't contact me at all. After graduation, she went back to her hometown to teach. She said there were many poor children in her hometown, and she wanted to help them. I admired her character and reached out to her a few times, but she wasn't interested in dating. The only time she asked for my help was to see if I could organize a clothing drive for the children in her area. I donated some old clothes, and after that, we didn't stay in touch. I often think about what she said about having dignity. That remarkable girl. I hope her life takes her far.